The Pokemon World Championships is the most important event of every single year. This year it's no different. Taking place in Anaheim, California, players from all across the globe will gather and attempt to become the next Pokemon World Champion. Becoming a Pokemon World Champion is no easy task. It requires countless hours of dedication to practicing the craft and becoming the best player you can be. So today, we're going to take a look at 10 players that we think could possibly become the 2025 World Champion. So without further ado, let's hop into this list.
Number 10, the defending World Champion, Luca Ceribelli.
Luca's story starts last year at the World Championships. Luca is the defending world champion. He was the best player in the world last year, and his results showed it. He placed 5th at EUIC, into 2nd, into 1st. He had an incredible season last year, but this year, it's been a little bit rocky for our world champion. He started off the season with a Day 2 and top cut at the Stuttgart Regionals, followed by barely missing top cut at the European Internationals, using his world's team once again, and then he went to Utrecht, where he did miss cut once again, same at Bologna, but finally at NAIC he was able to finish 12th, making it into top cut, just falling ever so short of winning NAIC.
Luca is a player that masters consistency. He aims to pick up the best team in the format and try to replicate his success as best he can. And we've seen this in his team choices this season, running it back with his familiar World Championship team, as well as bringing to NAIC an established core of Pokemon that almost won the Milwaukee Regional Championship, but has been around this whole format. And I feel that this is a safe pick for him going into the World Championships again. It's not that different than his Worlds team last year, and it did win the tournament, just with a different pilot. His season hasn't been mind-blowing, but it's been extremely consistent, and he hasn't attended as many events as some of the other people on this list, so I could totally see him winning Worlds again. You can never doubt out the defending champion.
Number 9, Eric Rios.
Eric Rios is a player who needs no introduction. He is one of the best VGC players in this era and has been playing the game for a really, really long time. He's a former international champion, a former top 8 Worlds player, and he's in the running for winning the World Championships this year. Now, taking a look at his season, he's had some ups and downs. He started off the season strong with a top cut at LATAM, a little bit of a dip, but then getting 2nd at Stockholm Regionals, pretty consistent at Seville, and then a top 4 at North America with a really, really creative team too. So I really think he is in contention for bringing a really strong but creative team at the World Championships and dominating once again.
Although Eric is known for using very, very standard stuff, he loves to throw his own little sauce into the skillet. Starting with his Latin American Internationals team, he used Annihilate with Focus Sash, which just really wasn't seen very much at the time, and Mirror Herb Incineroar, which is just absolutely insane as a tech to beat some of the King Gambits at the time. But where his season really started to pick up was the Stockholm Regionals, where he decided to use a Calm Mind Lunala team that he based off of a very successful Japanese player's team. This team was absolutely ridiculous, and he basically tore through the entire tournament. I think Eric was really supposed to win this regional, but unfortunately for Eric, Michael Derbesti came out of nowhere with Hard Trick Room, which just seemed like kind of a rough matchup for Eric, but a 2nd place is nothing to laugh at. Going into NAIC, Eric completely revolutionized Zamazenta plus Miraidon. He decided to use a Scarf Miraidon paired with an Electric Seed Volcarona. He also had Ogerpon with no mask, so it was just a grass form, and with the combination of these Pokemon, he was able to tear through every Shadow Rider he played, every Ice Rider, and he was able to find himself in the top 4 of one of the biggest tournaments of the entire year. Now, looking at Worlds, Eric is incredibly established. He knows what it's like to play at the highest level and what it's like to succeed at Worlds. So I expect Eric to make an incredibly deep run this year, and I just really don't know what he will even bring. I'm sure it's going to be extra spicy this season.
Number 8, Ruben Gianzini.
Ruben is a name that you probably haven't heard in VGC, but he's been an incredibly successful player over the past 2 years. Ruben started playing at the European Internationals, where he started his first tournament as 5-4, which is a pretty solid tournament for someone's first attempt. But then, for Bologna, he ended up winning the entire thing. He won his 2nd regional ever, and then, with that win, he was able to go to Worlds, where he finished 10th at the World Championships, his first ever Worlds. Now, Ruben's momentum did not stop there. He had some really solid finishes to start off the year, but he really came into his own again, once again at Bologna, where he finished second with his signature Calyrex plus Zamazenta, and then he finished off the year with a 7th place at the North American Internationals. He's just on a back-to-back heater right now, and I think Worlds could be his time to crown himself a champion once again.
Ruben is a relatively new player, but his momentum has us very hopeful of his performance at Worlds. Based on the limited data we have, I can tell that he is a player who values strong offense. You can see that with Calyrex Shadow and Zamazenta, along with choices like Chen Pao and Amoonguss. I do think he's going to use something very similar at the World Championships, either the team he just brought to NAIC, or something we've been seeing popularized in Japan with Ogerpon Rock, still Chen Pao, but slightly different sets. So I see him staying with CSR Zamazenta, and to be honest, I could totally see him winning. There's not much that stops that comp.
Number 7, Shohei Kimura.
Shohei is one of the game's greatest players, having multiple international top cuts and actually winning the World Championships in 2023. He has been a formidable force, especially since he started playing in Western events. He had a pretty strong season, top-cutting the Latin America International Championships, top-cutting EUIC, top-cutting various Australian regionals, and then having a really strong finish at NAIC, getting 28th. I think Shohei is easily one of the strongest players, even right now, and we've seen it just with his sheer consistency in the Western metagame as well as the Japanese circuit, as he also got second at Japan Nationals after NAIC, completely pivoting teams as well to the team that had just won NAIC.
When it comes to teams, Shohei loves to steal. In 2023, when he won the World Championships, a very, very prominent Japanese player by the name of Yubi Slow actually posted his ladder team weeks before the World Championships. Shohei saw that, snatched it up, and won the entire event with it. And that's been kind of the story of this season. Like Raghav mentioned earlier, he actually did pick up the Fede team that did win NAIC, took it to Japan Nats and got second. So he's just very, very consistent at playing almost anything. He likes to take teams, he likes to take what he thinks is strong and kind of tweak them or just leave them as is and just show up to the tournament and play better Pokemon than you. And that's what he's known for. He's just such an incredible player, and I expect Worlds this year to be no different. He's kind of on a hot streak right now, and I think he really, really wants that second Pikachu trophy. I would expect Shohei to roll up with either the team he finished second with at Japan Nationals, which was just the Miraidon Lunala team, or maybe pivoting to Zama CSR. We did see him do incredibly well in a grassroots tournament, losing to the eventual finalist, so we'll have to see. He's a very big player, and he loves to make big reads, big plays, so I'm very excited to see what he's going to bring to Worlds.
Number 6, Carson Confer.
Carson has been playing this game for an incredibly long time. He won the 2016 World Championships in seniors, and from then on, he became a force in the community. Since graduating to Masters, Carson has put on a clinic. He started by winning LAIC in 2018, and he's had multiple close finishes, multiple top cuts, but this season, he's really come into his own. He started the season off with an incredible 9th place finish at Louisville, which is pretty solid, pretty respectable, but then he followed it up with a regional win at Sacramento, and then he found himself in top 8 once again in San Antonio, followed by a second at the Monterrey Regionals in Mexico, and then he got top 4 in Milwaukee. This guy doesn't miss. And then he finally finished it with an 11th place finish at North American Internationals. Even this summer, while everyone was hibernating and practicing, Carson won a massive Smogon tournament, so he just hasn't stopped practicing, he hasn't stopped improving, and I think this year could be the year of Carson winning Worlds.
A very underrated part of Carson's success is his team selection. We mentioned that Zine was a good team stealer. Carson is an exceptional team stealer, but he does so slightly differently. I would say he tries not to be the absolute standard of the metagame, but rather have something new, cutting edge that's been hidden within secret team building circles. Somehow he gets his hands on them, and he easily becomes the best pilot of them. A lot of these finishes, if he didn't win, someone else won with that team. And so it's difficult to predict what Carson's going to bring to the World Championships, but I gotta believe he's going to stick with Miraidon and Calyrex Ice, because it's been a large portion of his success in this format.
Number 5, Yuma Kinugawa.
Kinugawa is a player that has been well known in the Japanese circuit for a very long time. Although we in the United States aren't as familiar with his teams, this year has been amazing for him. Even with his very limited results, he has performed super well when it's mattered the most. He had a decent finish at the Australian regionals along with some other Japanese players, but at NAIC, he finished as the number 1 seed and finished in the top 8 with his Calyrex Shadow Zamazenta team, with Smeargle and Tornadus. After that finish, he went to the Japan Nationals and his momentum continued, as he ended up winning the whole thing with the same exact team that he brought to NAIC. It's really hard to overstate his momentum at this moment. These have been the 2 biggest tournaments in this format, and he has absolutely dominated them with a team that he created, and I can just see it happening at the World Championships as well. It might be his turn, and it's never bad to bet on the Japanese national champion.
The Japanese national champion, for whatever reason, historically, has always been one of the most successful players at the World Championships every single year. They've won multiple times. There's just crazy correlation between winning those 2 tournaments. And Yuma, I'm thinking, might be no different. He completely shifted and changed the meta with his innovative Smeargle Calyrex team. Smeargle was seen very rarely, but with Yuma, we've seen it explode in usage. It is all over the ladder. You're seeing it constantly, and I'd expect Smeargle to be an incredible player at the World Championships. And I think going into this tournament, this team is still sauced. It is still good. All you need is a good pilot, and I think Yuma can be that pilot. I think the team is incredible. It has no bad matchups, and I think he can pop off with this team. So I'm very curious to see if he sticks with it, but we also know he's an incredible builder, an incredible player, so he could easily change it up and maybe find something that counters his own team or counters the metagame in a new and different way. It's also really interesting because he did actually work with American and European players on that team. So he has a lot of connections, a lot of great team building knowledge. Let's see if he can put it to the test here and continue that tradition of the Japanese national champion winning Worlds.
Number 4, Michael Kelch.
Michael is an incredible singles player. He's dominated the random bats ladder for years. He's done really, really well in the Smogon circuit, and recently he started doing incredibly well in the VGC circuit as well. He started off with a 2nd place finish at the World Championships in 2023, followed up by a regional win the next year, and then another top 4 finish at the World Championships in 2024. So going into this year's Worlds, it's all about Michael. Now, he's had a pretty incredible season. He started the season off a little rocky with some really solid finishes, multiple top cuts, but not a win until we get to the Stockholm Regionals, where he was able to secure a 1st place finish with Hard Trick Room. Now, leading up to this tournament, Hard Trick Room had not won a tournament in Scarlet and Violet, so it was incredible that Michael picked up the composition and dominated the tournament. And then he moved into the Utrecht Regionals, where he was able to win once again back-to-back regional champions, but this time with Calyrex plus Miraidon. So he ran it back with Calyrex and performed incredibly well, winning 2 events in a row. That just never happens in this day and age. And then he goes to NAIC and he barely misses top cut on a win-in against Gabriel Agati, which was an incredibly close set as well. But he ran it back with his Calyrex Miraidon, and he's feeling very confident, and I'm very excited to see what this player can do going into Worlds.
Michael's team usage has historically always had his own little Derbesti flavor to it. He's never really brought the absolute standard of the format, and he's usually tried to push the meta forward with his own creative team building choices. We saw this in his World's 2nd place finish, as he had a unique Dragapult Genpao for Rigoraph strategy. We saw this in last year, where he got top 4 at Worlds with Zamazenta. And this year, I think he's going to bring his own, copyrighted Michael Derbesti team. He's going to bring the Miraidon, Calyrex, Ice, Landorus team that he brought to NAIC again. I think he truly believes in this. He's had some strong finishes in grassroots tournaments, and I truly believe he thinks he's made a really, really good piece of art, and he just needs to pilot it well at the World Championship. For someone whose worst finish at Worlds is 3rd, I can't predict him doing bad. I think there's a really, really strong chance he wins. After all, there is a reason they call him their best. Real quickly, before we head into the final 3, we'd really appreciate if you like, comment, and subscribe. It helps us out a ton to keep Battle Room Nation running. And just a quick note, these final 3, they're really neck and neck. It's really hard to put one over the other. So I honestly understand if you view them as interchangeable. But yeah, just amazing, incredible players. I would bet Colin's life that one of these 3 players is going to win Worlds.
Number 3, Federico Camporesi.
But going into the top 3, we have Fede Campo, who's been an absolute juggernaut since entering the Masters division. Getting top 4 at Worlds in 2023, he has pushed the game forward. His season really started at Gdansk, where he got first place with a creative team in Regulation H, and then he continued his success at LATAM, doing really solid, I think just barely missing the top cut. Birmingham Regionals at top 4, top 8 at Stockholm, top 16 at Bologna, and then of course winning the North American International Championship. And he's just really grinded this season, going to a bunch of events, and honestly just playing incredible with really, really consistent teams. Nothing too crazy, but something that always gives him a chance to be in the game.
Winning NAIC is such an incredible feat. It does come with a curse. We've never seen anyone win NAIC and then win Worlds, so it's part of the reason why we put him at 3rd. But either way, Fede is an incredible, incredible player. He just plays so consistently, and he just knows when to play aggressive and when to play risky. I think Fede has really come into his own, and I feel like genuinely this was the confidence he needed. But there is one thing we forgot to mention. Fede here is potentially going for the Triple Crown in 1 year. For those who do not know, the Triple Crown is winning a regional, an internet, and Worlds all in 1 year. It's never been done before in 1 year. It has been done over multiple years, but Fede has a chance here, which is just absolutely insane to say. Also, again, winning an international is such a huge feat, especially NAIC with such a well-known team at the time. He just played better than all of his opponents, and it showed throughout the entire tournament.
Like Colin has touched on, Fede is a very refined player. He practices the same situation a million times, so he knows exactly what he wants to do when it happens in tournament. I think looking at his success, we've seen him do really well with high-power Pokemon like Ursaluna. I mean, he just won NAIC with it, he got top 4 at Worlds with it, so I predict him to use it again, honestly. Obviously, metas change, but this is the exact same format as NAIC, and I think the team he won with doesn't have a lot of holes in it. Sure, it has a big target on its back, but it's one of those teams where there's always a chance if you get your plays correct. So I personally believe that Fede Campo is going to pull up with his same winning team, and I think he could really take it home. He could really take the Triple Crown. Number 2, the best player of all time, Wolf Glick.
Wolf Glick needs no introduction, but we'll give him one anyway. Wolf Glick is the 2016 World Champion, 10-time regional winner, and simply the greatest player of all time. Now you're probably wondering, why did you put him at 2nd? And it pains me, as a Wolf Glick Glazer myself, to put him at 2nd, but I feel like it is justified. So his season this year has been nothing short of incredible. He ended up winning the Toronto Regionals, winning EUIC, top-cutting every event he went to, except for NAIC, where he unfortunately went 5-3 and bombed. Now, Wolf obviously is an incredible player, and I totally expect him to bounce back, but that is my reasoning and my justification for putting him at 2nd.
Wolf has always been a very creative team builder. Since the beginning he touched this game, he's always tried to come up with a very unique strategy that gives him an edge in gameplay. Now in recent years, he has tried to use better Pokemon to give him that edge, but he still pushes them to the max. Just this season, he's used Perish Trap twice, which usually nobody can figure out except for him. And he's used it to great success. Even at EUIC, that Perish Trap also had a new innovation with Life Orb Koraidon. Obviously, we have him at 2nd only because his last 2 tournaments have been a little bit worse than his usual standard, not even making Day 2 at North America Internationals. So I do feel that he is a bit more lost in this format than maybe the ones previously. I do think he's going to pull up with something we cannot predict, just because Lunala Koraidon's clearly not working out for him. Maybe he figured it out, he broke it, but I think we're going to see something crazy from Wolf. He tried Caloric Shadow last year. It went okay, but he came short again. So I think we're going to see something absolutely bonkers, maybe 2016 level. I think he's motivated. I think this season has been nothing short of greatness. And we've talked about Fede's Triple Crown potential, but Wolf has the same exact thing. After Toronto, after EUIC, and now he has a chance to get the Triple Crown in 1 year, which he has already done in his career. But can he win the World Championships, Colin?
He's done it once, I totally think he can do it again. I think Wolf this year has been playing at a level that is just absurd. I think one thing to note about Wolf as a player is that his play has just gotten better with time. I think he plays the game incredibly well. I think his team building is spectacular and it's something that we often highlight, but his play over the years has just aged like a fine wine. I think he knows when to be aggressive, he knows when to be defensive, and I feel like after playing him myself, he just knows how to read people. And I think he's just gotten better with it. I think 2025 Wolf might be the best iteration we've ever seen. The play's clean, the teams are good. It's just a matter of can he bring it all together for this final tournament. This is the tournament he cares about the most. He said it publicly over and over again that he wants to win Worlds. He's fired up, and I genuinely think this could be the year. Pokemon is a game of luck, and sometimes it doesn't roll our way, so I'm very curious to see, can Wolf win the World Championships yet again?
Number 1. LAIC champion and NAIC runner-up from this year, Marco Hemanta Caladura Silva. This season, Marco has been the face of consistency. He has had maybe only one bad tournament. Starting at Lille Regionals, he gets 9th, then at Gdansk 2nd, into a win at LATAM Regionals. Then he just takes a friendly trip to, North America, gets 2nd at Toronto Regionals, decent at EUIC, top 16 at Stockholm, top 16 at Bologna is the one event that he's done bad at, which was a team that actually redeemed himself, and he came back to NAIC to get 2nd. Marco has had one of the greatest seasons in VGC history at this point. The only thing he's missing from these other two guys is that Triple Crown potential, because he's gotten 2nd so many times. But I think his dominance at NAIC just shows why we have him at number 1. Early in the season, dominated. Late in the season, dominated. He knows how to pick his teams, but more importantly, I think he's the single best player. He is the best at clicking buttons at this game. When you give him a team, he knows what to do. And I really think this could be the year he finally takes it home.
Marco has just been good year after year after year. He's won Internats, he's won Regionals. All he's missing is that legendary Worlds performance. And I think if Marco finally wins Worlds this year, next year, whenever, I think he might easily become one of the greatest players of all time, if not the greatest. He really, really could be that guy. Marco is on top of the meta at all times. He's always keeping up with whatever's standard, whatever's good, and he can play it all. There's just no fear with this guy. His reads are deadly. It feels like he's just mind reading his opponent every single turn I watch him play on stream.
Marco just has a lot of experience at the biggest stage, numerous top cuts, and he is a 3-time international champion. And in this day and age, an Internats is bigger than a lot of the world championships we've had in the past. So I think he has zero fear at this point, and it might just be his turn to take the reins. I think Marco Hemanta Caladura Silva has the best chance of winning the world championships.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you appreciated the video, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.